The sky over Earth wasn't just dark, it was suffocating. Shadows of ships larger than cities blotted out the sun, moving silently, deliberately. Humanity had watched the news, the scientists, the satellites, but nothing prepared anyone for the scale of the Empire. Every species in the galaxy had bowed to them. Every planet had surrendered without firing a single shot. And now, Earth was next. In a high-security command center, military leaders and world governments debated frantically. Bombers? Missiles? Negotiations? All options seemed pointless. The Empire didn't negotiate, they commanded. And those who resisted simply vanished. Then, in a quiet corner of the chaos, the decision came. One human would speak to them. One person, representing all of Earth, would meet the Empire face to face. No armies, no weapons, just words. When Dr. Elias Mercer, a linguist and former diplomat, was summoned, he barely had time to breathe. He was told only, "You are humanity's voice. One mistake and we are finished." As the human ship launched toward the Empire's flagship, Earth watched in silence. For the first time in history, one person carried the fate of a world on their shoulders. And as the massive alien vessel loomed ever closer, Elias knew one thing: the Empire expected obedience. But humanity had other ideas. The stars stretched endlessly ahead. And somewhere inside that steel and shadow, the galaxy waited to see if Earth's single human could survive. The ship's interior was nothing like anything Elias had imagined. Walls shimmered with strange energy, floors hummed underfoot, and the air smelled faintly of metal and something alive. Every step echoed through the cavernous corridors, making him feel smaller than he'd ever been. Finally, he reached the command chamber. The doors opened to reveal a sight that froze him. The Empire's leaders were not human, not even vaguely familiar. Tall, serpentine creatures with opalescent skin, armored in gold and black, regarded him with unblinking eyes. Other species, once proud civilizations, sat in silence, their forms twisted in submission. Human, a voice hissed, amplified in the chamber. "You come alone. Why?" Elias swallowed, his throat dry. "I represent Earth," he said steadily. "I'm here to speak, to negotiate." A ripple of amusement, or was it disdain, passed through the room. The serpentine leader leaned forward, its many eyes reflecting light like jewels. "Negotiate? You? Every world has bent the knee. Every species has knelt. Why should we allow your insolence to continue?" Elias's hands were trembling, but his voice didn't falter. "Because Earth is different. We don't fear you. And perhaps, in time, we may offer something even the Empire values more than obedience." The chamber fell silent. The Empire's representatives exchanged glances, subtle, but Elias saw it. Even the all-powerful, galaxy-spanning Empire had cracks. And for the first time, he realized, his words, not weapons, might be humanity's only chance. Then the serpentine leader's gaze locked onto him. "We shall see," it said slowly, the threat in its tone sharp enough to make Elias shiver. "We shall see if your species is worthy, or doomed." And with that, the doors closed behind him, leaving Elias alone with a single thought: every second counts, and one wrong move could destroy Earth before the stars themselves blinked. The corridors of the Empire's flagship seemed endless, but Elias moved with purpose. Each step echoed like a heartbeat in the silent halls. He had survived the first meeting, but now the real challenge began: understanding the enemy. In a hidden observation deck, he saw it, something no one on Earth had ever witnessed. Alien leaders whispered behind closed panels, their voices sharp, full of fear and suspicion. They were not the invincible overlords he had imagined. Rivalries festered beneath their golden armor. Some species feared others more than they feared humanity. Elias took careful notes. Every gesture, every glance, every subtle exchange mattered. He realized the Empire maintained control not through loyalty, but through fear, fear of each other as much as fear of rebellion. Late into the alien night cycle, he was approached by a quiet figure, a smaller, unassuming alien whose eyes gleamed with intelligence rather than menace. "You are brave," it whispered in broken common speech. "But bravery alone will not save you, or your world. Use their doubts. Use their weaknesses." The human's mind raced. If the Empire's strength was a facade, perhaps he could exploit it. Perhaps Earth didn't need weapons at all, only insight, timing, and audacity. But there was danger in knowing too much. Every secret he uncovered came with risk. One wrong step could trigger suspicion, or worse, death. And yet, Elias felt a spark of hope, the first spark in humanity's history against the Empire. In that cold, alien fortress, one truth became clear: the galaxy's greatest conquerors were not invincible. They were flawed. And if humanity played its cards right, a single human might be the key to turning fear into leverage. Outside, the stars shone cold and distant. Inside, a war of whispers and wills had begun, and Earth's negotiator was now at its center. Elias stepped into the grand negotiation chamber once more, heart pounding, mind racing. The Empire's leaders waited, rows of eyes and scales glinting, every alien face unreadable. The air itself seemed to hum with expectation, as if the ship itself held its breath. "You speak again, human," the Serpentine leader said, its voice cold and sharp. "What makes you think your species deserves anything?" Elias squared his shoulders. "I don't come with threats. I come with a proposal. One that could benefit all of you, more than obedience ever could." A murmur rippled through the chamber. Other species, once silent and submissive, leaned forward with interest. Fear had ruled them for centuries, but curiosity was a dangerous spark. "I have observed your alliances, your rivalries," Elias continued. "You maintain control through fear, but even the strongest alliances crumble when trust is missing. There is a way for you to strengthen your empire, without crushing Earth. And in return, Earth will offer resources, knowledge, and strategies that no other species could provide." The Serpentine leader's eyes narrowed. "You dare bargain? You, alone? With the galaxy watching?" "Yes," Elias said. "I dare. Because you are not as unshakable as you think. And because the wrong move now could destroy everything you've built." Whispers surged among the other alien delegates. Even the smallest flicker of doubt in the Empire's leadership was dangerous, a weakness that Elias could feel from across the chamber. He had planted it deliberately, careful words, hints of insight, calculated truth. The Serpentine leader rose, towering over him. Its eyes bore into Elias like burning steel. "Very well, human. Speak your terms. But know this: one mistake, one false step, and your planet will cease to exist before the next cycle." Elias held his ground, his mind sharp, heart steady. One chance. One proposal. One human against an empire that had never faced defiance. And for the first time, the impossible seemed possible. The chamber was tense enough to crush bones. Every delegate's gaze was on Elias, the human who had dared to stand alone against the galaxy's most feared conquerors. The Serpentine leader towered above him, silent, as if weighing the weight of the universe in a single thought. Elias took a deep breath. He had studied them, learned their fears, their rivalries, and their lust for control. And now, it was time to strike, not with force, but with truth. "You fear Earth because we are unpredictable," he began. "We do not bow easily, we do not obey blindly, and we see the cracks in your empire that even you cannot ignore. But we are not here to destroy you. We offer knowledge, alliances, and insights that could secure your empire for centuries, if you accept it wisely." A ripple of tension ran through the chamber. The smaller, quiet aliens Elias had spoken with earlier shifted, their whispers rising into a low murmur of speculation. Even among the most loyal empire factions, doubt began to creep. The Serpentine leader's eyes burned with intensity. "And if we refuse?" it asked, voice like molten metal. Elias met that gaze without flinching. "Then Earth will defend itself. And every weakness you thought hidden, every fear you refused to face, will become your undoing. Not by arrogance, not by anger, but by the choices you made, and the trust you never earned." For a long moment, the chamber held its breath. The galaxy seemed to pause. Then, slowly, the Serpentine leader's massive form relaxed slightly. A quiet, almost imperceptible nod passed among the other delegates. "Very well, human," the leader said finally. "We will consider your terms, carefully. But remember, one misstep, and your world will pay the price." Elias exhaled, but he did not lower his guard. He had won a fragile reprieve, but the battle had just begun. Humanity had survived its first encounter with the Empire, not by force, but by insight, courage, and audacity. One human, one chance, had bought the galaxy a moment of uncertainty. Outside, the stars shimmered cold and distant, yet for the first time, they seemed to promise something new: hope.